of Grace Brown. Grace May Brown, March 20, 1886, June 11, 1906 was an American skirt factory worker whose murder caused a nationwide sensation, and whose life inspired the fictional character Roberta Alden in Theodore Dreiser's novel An American Tragedy as well as Jennifer Donnelly's novel A Northern Light. The facts of the real murder are laid out in two nonfiction books, both published in 1986, Adirondack Tragedy, The Gillette Murder Case of 1906, written by Joseph W. Brownell and Patricia A. Warzasek, and Murder in the Adirondacks, An American Tragedy Revisited, by Craig Brendan. Childhood. Brown grew up in South Otselic, New York, the daughter of a successful Shenango County farmer. She was reportedly given the nickname Billy because of her love of the contemporary hit song Won't You Come Home Bill Bailey. Brown often signed her love letters The Kid after the Western outlaw Billy the Kid. She attended grammar school in the village, and became close friends with teacher Ma Kenyon Crum and her husband. In 1904, she moved to nearby Cortland to live with a married sister, and went to work at the Gillette Skirt Company. Romance. Chester Gillette, the company owner's nephew, moved to Cortland in 1905, and began a romantic and sexual relationship with Brown. In the spring of 1906, Brown fell pregnant and returned to her parents in South Otselic. Gillette agreed to take her away to the Adirondacks, apparently promising marriage. Because Brown packed her entire wardrobe for the trip and Gillette packed just a small suitcase, some 21st-century historians conjecture that Gillette had promised to take Brown to a maternity home in upstate New York. Gillette and Brown stayed for a night in Utica, New York, and then continued by train to Tupper Lake in Franklin County, spending the night. Rain the next day ruined their plans for an outing on a nearby lake, so they returned south again by train to Big Moose Lake in Herkimer County, New York. Murder. On July 11, the couple were seen rowing out on Big Moose Lake near Covewood Lodge. Gillette had entered the pseudonym Carl Graham in the hotel register. Gillette's suitcase was monogrammed C. for example, and he was careful to choose a name with the same initials. Gillette is believed to have struck Brown over the head with a tennis racket, and she fell out of the boat and drowned. Gillette returned alone, and gave varying explanations for what had occurred. Brown's body was found the next day, and Gillette was arrested in the nearby town of Inlet, New York. The defense at trial claimed that Grace was perplexed, and just jumped out of the boat and into the water, despite being fully clothed. Gillette testified, "We talked a little more, then she got up and jumped in the water, just jumped in." Love letters. In Gillette's rented room, authorities confiscated Brown's love letters to Gillette as evidence. District Attorney George Ward read the letters aloud to the court during the trial in the fall of 1906, and Brown's letters gave the trial national attention. Brown pleaded with Gillette in the letters to accept responsibility for her pregnancy. In her final letter, written July 5, Brown looked forward to her impending Adirondack trip with Gillette, and she said farewell to her childhood home of South Otselic, wishing she could confess her pregnancy to her mother. "I know I shall never see any of them again. And Mama. Great heavens, how I do love Mama. I don't know what I shall do without her. Sometimes I think if I could tell Mama, but I can't. She has trouble enough as it is, and I couldn't break her heart like that. If I come back dead, perhaps if she does not know, she won't be angry with me." Copies of Brown's love letters were published in booklet form, and even sold outside the courtroom during the trial. Theodore Dreiser paraphrased many of the actual letters in An American Tragedy, quoting the final letter almost verbatim. Jennifer Donnelly used many of the actual letters in A Northern Light. Letters written between the two, as well as the diary of Gillette, have been donated to Hamilton College. The trial. The trial lasted 3 weeks, and resulted in a guilty verdict and a death sentence. The New York Court of Appeals affirmed the judgment, and Governor Charles Evans Hughes refused to grant clemency. Gillette was executed on March 30, 1908 in Auburn Correctional Facility by electrocution. So, what's your theory on what happened? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Please give